good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing today? Hope you're good, hope you're well, hope you're excited for another Wednesday Wisdom with myself, Steve Woody, the Undisputed Noob, and Coach Cody. Let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. How you doing today? How you doing? Hope you're good. Hope you're well. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. Let's just flip straight across to the other camera. We're going to jump straight into this today. See how everybody is doing already. It's good to see you. Good to see you. All right, let's have a quick check and see what's happening. For some reason, we've got no activity feed today, so that's going to be a bit sad. Don't know why that's not working. But let's just grab the chat so I can see what's happening. Good morning, good morning. Hello, hello. Hope you're good. Hope you are well. This Wednesday. You know what that means? Wednesdays is all about Coach Cody. Coach Cody. That is what it is all about today. So, we are going to jump straight into this. We're going to just share, before we do this, we're just going to share something with you because I want you to know or to understand what's happening at the moment. So, let me just share my screen. Bear with me. Let me just have a quick look. All right, so here we go. Let's pop across to this. Let's put this up here. There we go. Nice. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I want you to have a quick look and to understand something that's happening with SLP at the moment. So just before we get into the coaching session, good morning, by the way, if you're here. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. I'm going to be having a look at the chat now. We've got no notifications today. The activity feed is not working, so I cannot see anything to do with stars or shares or anything. I apologize. I don't know why it's not. I don't know why it's not working. It's just one of those things. Also, I seem to be breaking my monitors left, right, and center by pulling them around. So just give me a second while I just sort my life out. Won't take long. Right. Hello. Good morning. Hello. All right. I've got the chat. The chat works. So that's good. Restream. Sort yourselves out, please. I pay you good money to get good streaming and it's all going wrong. But we're good. We're good. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Hope you are good. Hope you're well. So just before we jump into this, I want to just have a quick look about what I talked about. And I want to explain a couple of things because you need to understand. So we talked about this decline in SLP, and I talked about this pump, the retest, and then expecting it to go up. But as we can see, that hasn't happened. Now, I did say, and it's very important to understand, that I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to go up, down, or sideways. I only have a thesis or a prediction, and we have to wait for the candles to print to be able to see that out. Now, I don't think that my thesis is wrong. I still agree with it. However, it seems to be that it's not happening yet. Now, why is that? Well, as we can see, we come down to test this support line here. So we broke out above this trend line, and then we come down to test this support line. And if you remember on Monday when we talked to Siam, one of the things when we talked to Siam was about what happens when we get the bounce. Now, as you can see, we got the bounce, and then what happened on that bounce? It broke the trend. It shot straight through. So, why did this happen? What caused this massive sell-off in SLP? Well, for those of you that aren't aware, it was something that happened that was not technical. It had nothing to do with the technical analysis. This was fundamental. And the fundamental analysis is that there was talk and rumors around government intervention in the Philippines and about how the government were going to start taxing Filipinos who are playing Axie Infinity. So that caused this sudden spike down. And then what happened is it started to recover And then Bitcoin had a sell-off. And everything kind of follows the Bitcoin market. So we've got two events that have happened here. The first one being the government announcement in the Philippines, and the second one being Bitcoin dropping in price. If we look at Bitcoin, very, very quickly, we can see that it dropped here. So it was sitting at 50,000, and we had a drop-off and a drop-off. So if we have a look around here, this is about 8 a.m. The first, about 2 p.m. 2 p.m. on the 24th. And then if we go back and have a look at SLP on the 24th at about 2 p.m. Okay, so this one was the Bitcoin drop-off. And then this one next to it was the continuation with the government legislation announcement. So what I want to say to you first and foremost is don't worry about this. This is absolutely natural. Whenever Bitcoin has a drop-off, everything follows. And when Bitcoin recovers, everything follows. So it's not always going to be like that, but it is for now. So we can watch Bitcoin. We can wait for Bitcoin to recover, which it will. Remember, we're still expecting Bitcoin to double in value this year. We're expecting $100,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year, which means that we are expecting everything to come up. The other thing, the other announcement is about the SLP and the taxation. So we talked about this on Monday. Taxation is going to happen. You have to accept if you're going to earn money, you have to pay taxes. That's just not something you can stop. But what you can deal with is how much tax you pay. You see, you can go and pay 40% super tax, 20% tax on all your profits, or you can say, well, look, here are some expenses, here are some costs, here are some other things. So you can offset your losses against your profits. You know, if you're playing a game, then you're going to have a mobile phone or a computer. Those are going to be classed as business assets. So you can start to consider this as more of a, you know, it is a job and you can treat it thusly. But you can also consider that if you're going to be self-employed and you're going to be working for yourself, then there are going to be things that you can claim. And we're going to provide a lot more information about that inside the community over the coming weeks and months. So please, please, please don't worry. Everything at the moment that you're seeing, most of the stuff that you're seeing at the moment is FUD. It's fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And it is people spreading the news, spreading all of the drama. And what I don't want you to do is be distracted by that drama, because you've got a mission and a focus and you need to remain on point. So don't get distracted. Yes, obviously have it as an awareness in the back of your mind. But one thing I like to do, or I like to say, is that worrying about something, okay? So worrying about tax, worrying about money, worrying about anything. Worrying is a bit like a rocking chair. Okay, it gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. And so if you want to go places, worrying is not going to get you there. It's like a rocking chair. It's absolutely fine to sit on a rocking chair and to enjoy the process, but don't sit there expecting to move. Not off the spot anyway. You're just going to go backwards and forwards on the same spot. Worrying's the same thing. So when you think of it like that, just say, well, am I on a rocking chair? Do I want to be on this rocking chair? And if not, then just get off. Or stop worrying. Just don't think about it. Just, if you see it, shut it down and go, do you know what? I know that's a thing, but Steve said he's going to deal with it, and I'll wait until the community has something official. I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to stress. We will look after you. I've got some of the best accountants, best lawyers. I've got some of the best people in the world that can help, and we're going to be bringing them into this community as we move forward. So please, please, please don't worry. There is always going to be FUD, as rightly said, in every single market, in every single thing you do. So please, please don't stress, don't worry. I don't want you to stress and to worry about it. And like was said here, and it's an absolute certainty. The two things in life which are certain, death and taxes. It's absolutely true. Absolutely true. So you're going to have to pay tax. That's absolute certain. But how much tax you pay, that depends on how smart you are. And we're going to give you all of the tools, all of the knowledge, all of the resources that you need to be as efficient as possible in terms of your SLP earning, your SLP spending, in terms of your everything that you do moving forward, your crypto, your trading, and everything else you do. And by the way, 240 views on Facebook to start with. Good morning, each and every one of you. Incredible, incredible. What a start to the day. What a start to the day. And do you know why I think you're all here? I think you're all here to learn about Axie. So I'm going to be quiet. I've said my piece, and I am going to right now jump on to a call with the one, the only, the beautiful, beautiful Coach Cody. So let's just ring him up, make sure he's here. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say, I've just received a picture of Coach Cody. This guy looks like if he was in a battle with 3 Terminators and the opponent threw in 3 reptiles, so they had 6 Axie, this guy still would win. This guy could do a 3v6 and still win. I'm going to show you Coach Cody so you can see what he looks like. This guy is an absolute boss. Absolute boss. And so we are going to get him on the phone right now. And he is going to take you through today's session, which is going to be all about improving your gameplay. So without further ado, and just before we do this, let me see if I can bring up this picture one more time. Hold on. I do have it here. It's a beautiful picture. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Here we go. Where is he? There he is. Here's Coach Cody. Hold on. Okay, so. Ladies and gentlemen. Coach Cody. Look at this. Look at this. Absolute. Axie Bond. 002K. Axie Bond. Coach Cody. Right, let's get him on a call, shall we? Without further ado. Okay, Coach Cody, are you here? Can I find you? Where are you? I know you're on here. I've seen you. Seen you. Where are you, my friend? There we are. Hello, hello.
Can everyone hear me?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Amazing. Everyone can hear you loud and clear. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. But actually, I had a fever a few days back, but right now I'm managing. My father actually got contacted by COVID.
Oh, wow.
But he's recovering now. Yeah.
Well, please send your regards and all the best to your father. I'm glad that he's recovering, and hopefully you're staying safe as well.
We're all quarantined here at home.
Okay, okay. Well, the good news is that digitally we can't catch COVID, so we are all good to go. We are all good to go. So, 002K Cody, which is your new nickname, because you look like you could beat a 3v6. I am excited about today's show, and in fact, I'm just going to be quiet. I'm going to hand over, and I'm going to let you go because I've just had a quick look through this, and I'm excited. Like, there's some stuff already that I know is going to improve my gameplay and get me to the next level. And I'm hoping we can do this session and maybe have a couple of games. What do you think?
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right, let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Wednesday Wisdom with Coach Cody.
All right. So to start off, our topic today is to improve your gameplay. And this is because we're done with the beginner. This is somehow an intermediate level of skills that we'll be sharing. And all right, let's move on to the first slide then. Is it already moving? Yep, there you go. So, by the way, I just need to go back to this. This was already discussed before, which is Axie class advantage. I wanted to correct myself since what I shared was outdated. It's actually really 15%. I even checked my matches, and it really is a 15% swing. Well, a total of 30% since an Axie that has an advantage on on another Axie would be doing 15% more damage instead, and also will be receiving less than 15% damage if he is hit by an Axie that he counters with regards to the class. Okay. All right. That's just a quick correction, and then to the next slide, please. Okay, so first we are going to talk about the buffs. So first buff we're going to talk about is about speed up. Speed up basically increases an axe's speed by 20% for the next round. So our scholars are mostly using a setup of AAP, which is Aqua Plant, and one of the key skills or cards that they would have is Swift Escape and Upstream Swim. um Upstream, basically, if you use two or more cards, one has to be a different aqua card or the same aqua card. It's okay as long as it's another aqua card. You will get a 20% increase. And then Swift Escape is if you get hit by any card, any damaging card, you will also increase your speed by 20%. So um scenarios where you can use this, if you are familiar with terminators where they would slow you, it would be very effective if you always save at least one Swift Escape. So if ever he casts a Mystic lagging or a disarm where it slows you, you are still guaranteed to go first. Then for Upstream Swim, if you are against a bird that has higher speed than your current Axie, like let's say most birds, pure ones, are at 61 speed. Casting just one increases your speed by 20%. So let's say you're just around 55. That's an effective increase of around 11 already. So that guarantees you go first and possibly ensuring your win on the next or in the last round. Any questions or
I,
anything you would like to add,
I think that this
Steve?
is absolutely critical because so many games I've lost because I've failed to utilize the correct speed to go first on the final round, and
Hmm.
that first that first hit advantage on a final round, if you're a 1v1, can be the difference
Hmm.
between a win or a loss.
Exactly. Well, even if it's not a final round, like let's say, um, like at round four, the mid axes are going to go all in, four cards each. Whoever goes first and possibly kills the other axie basically negates all those energies and cards used by the opponent. So, the speed really makes a huge factor in determining a win or a lose in every game. Does that make
Absolutely,
sense?
I completely agree. Also, Cody, just so you're aware, I'm sharing with you on Discord so you can watch in real time
Oh,
without
okay.
the
All
delay.
right. Let me switch to that instead. Okay, now I
All right.
see it. Okay. Next slide, please. All right. The next one is attack up, same as speed. It increases your Axie's next skill by 20% damage. So um, take note that it's the next damage. So let's say you have fish hook and maybe tail slap, which only deals around 30 damage. It would be wise to first use your smaller damage card, a smaller damaging card, which is tail slap, before your fish hook, because you don't want to waste that 20% damage on just a 30 damaging card. So as much as possible, you have to get the greatest value out of your buffs. So make sure to use a stronger attack right after you activating that buff. Also, um, these effects are very important into maximizing your damage. So let's say you already could guarantee, let's say you are battling or your opponent only has around 80 HP and you can do 200 damage with maybe a fish hook and a clam, and it is a, let's say it is a plant. It would be better to actually use clam slash first before fish hook, so the next time you would be casting another damage, you would still have that buff. Other way around, if it's the opponent, which is a beast, then you could go use and fish hook first and then clam, so that on the again same scenario, on the next turn you would still have that buff active. This does not disappear in turns. It basically just gets used up when you actually cast another skill after the buff. So it could stay there for even, like, let's say you have the buff activated at round one, it could even stay as long as round four if you saved it. Yep.
Makes sense. Does everyone get
So
this in the chat? Is everyone understanding what Cody's saying here? Do you understand the difference between the buffs? the attack buffs, the speed buffs. Does this make sense?
hmm Utilizing this buffs really could swing the match into your favor. So definitely maximizing, utilizing each buff um could guarantee you a win. So yep, next slide please.
Nice, nice. Yeah, people are saying very informative. I agree.
Okay, so for morale, we all know that morale increases your critical rate and also the number of ticks for last stand, which we'll be talking about later as well. But basically, this is a buff that somehow still plays with RNG or RG is a big factor because even if you have, let's say, like 150 morale, although it increases your chance of a critical, it still doesn't guarantee. So you barely would see this buff skill in meta right now, although some still use it. Yeah, that's it. So next slide. Okay, now we move on to the debuffs. So our first debuff is aroma. If you see what only one skill currently applies aroma, which is egg bomb. This is a bird skill. Basically, if any axie is affected with this, they will attack the axie with the aroma. So there are two ways that birds use this skill. One is to guarantee that the next, because again, birds are the fastest axies. So let's say only two cards are available currently on your bird, which is a egg bomb and blackmail, which is the combo of this card, which applies blackmail applies any debuff on your current axis be transferred to the one you're attacking. So what it does is guarantees that the next axis on your team will be attacking the um, axis that you have applied this aroma to. So normally the combo is do a backdoor, egg bomb, and then blackmail, and then the other axis will possibly finish off the opponent. And also, aside from that, they could also use egg bomb as a way to safeguard their tank. Let's say, for example, your tank is around maybe 80 HP, which is very vulnerable to just one hit, and you would think that your opponent would be hitting you with just one card, and you having a bird that has more than, let's say, 300 HP, you can use this egg bomb and then effectively defending your tank and just tanking around 100 damage, which is still be good since you are at the back lane and possibly again securing your kill. So again, a lot of plays can be made using aroma. You can use this to your advantage as well as be aware on what a bird with aroma might do, so you can counterplay. Okay,
Makes
and
perfect
then
sense.
attack. Mhm. And then attack down is basically the buff in reverse, which applies a negative 20% decrease on the next attack that the opponent will be casting. Yeah, so that's very self-explanatory. These are the three cards that imply or applies um, a negative attack debuff. Okay.
Okay, so we know we've got the buffs, and we've talked about speed buffs, and we've talked now about attack buff. Just to recap, so if you have a speed buff, you're going to get a 20% speed advantage. So say you've
Mm-hmm.
got 10 speed, then you're going to have 12 speed in the next round. If you've got
Mm-hmm.
50 speed, you're going to have 60 speed in the next round.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to obviously take into account base movement speed as to who goes in which order for the next round.
Yeah.
And then with the
Exactly.
attack, you've got the buff, which is going to give you a plus 20%. So if you hit for 100, you will hit for 120. And the attack down, the debuff, means if they hit for 100, they're only going to hit for, say, 80.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
And by the way, these buffs, the stat buffs and debuffs stack, meaning if you get a speed buff of, like, say, 2 counts, that's a 40% increase. If it's 5 count, it's 100% increase. Also applies to
So
attack buff and
you could
debuff as
give
well.
yourself effectively like a 20, 40, maybe even possibly a 60% buff on, and then your final card Or is this the next round? So this is all on this round. So
Oh,
does this? So if
this
I was
is
to use
well.
Risky Feather, for example, not even Risky Feather. Let's see if I can go back to look at attack. This is morale. Do we have one with attack? Hold on.
Oh, go back. I think it would be Cuckoo, which you could stack, and then maybe Risky Fish. So
Okay, so
how
yeah, so
you
this
would
is
do it?
like apply
hmm
attack plus to this Axie. So is that
hmm
this round, next card? How does the attack plus work?
So it would be until the next attack skill is used.
Okay, so until the next attack plus or attack debuff. So would a debuff cancel a buff?
No. Well, it would. Well, let's say you have been applied, like you have applied Cuckoo, which is attack
Yep.
plus, and then you have been applied by Peace Treaty, which applies -20. Then it just basically evens out. Does that make
So
sense? So,
this
but if
this
let's say you
apply
have
attack
2 ticks
minus
of
on
attack plus,
target. This is
mhm,
for is this for being attacked or is this for our attack?
when that card is used by your opponent, you get a minus attack
Yeah, so
on
it's
your
on the
Axie.
opponent. So this gives
Mhm.
them -20.
No, that's on target. You see, it says
Yeah,
apply
apply
attack
attack
minus
X
on
on
target.
target. Yeah, so
Mhm.
so what I wanted to know is if let's say for example I played Cockadoodle Doo, and I gave myself a 20% buff.
Mhm.
Can I then play Peace Treaty to give them a -20%? Would I still have my plus 20%?
Not anymore, since you
Because
have
this
already
would
used
cancel
your
out
next
that.
attack skill.
Okay, so a buff or a debuff will cancel out a previous buff or a debuff.
Uh, okay. I think you had it slightly misunderstood. So
That's
a
okay.
buff stays until you have casted your next attack skill. So let's say I casted 2 Cockadoodle Doos.
Yes.
You would, on the first one you get plus 20%,
Yes.
and on the second one you get another plus 20%. So effectively having 40%. Since Cockadoodle Doo is not an attack skill. An attack skill basically is any
Oh,
card
okay.
that
I
has at
understand.
least more than 0 value.
I understand.
hmm
So if I play 2 Cockadoodle Doos and then I was to apply because there's 0 attack on this, but then if I played a Clam Slash,
hmm
now this says
Then
apply
that
attack plus, but it also does an attack, so it's actually a dual purpose card.
exactly.
So I could do Cockadoodle Doo to get plus 20, Clam Slash to get
hmm
plus 40, but then I would use that plus 40 with the Clam Slash.
No.
Oh.
So the plus 20% is already used on the Clam Slash. So let's say 110. That's around, give or take, 100. Sorry, um, math. Sorry, 20.
No, that's fine.
Let's say
This is good because
22. 22.
this confuses me, so I know this confuses other people. So this is so good to
Mm-hmm.
be able to get like we're gonna recap
Clarify
this,
everything.
guys. Don't
Mhm.
worry, we're gonna recap this so we understand. But we need to make sure we understand because this is important.
Yep, it is. Okay. So before we move on, so I'm going to give 2 examples.
Sure.
So let's say you use Cockadoodle Doo and then Clam Slash attacking a beast. So what will happen now is you have a 20% buff on your Axie. So the next attack is 20% is increased by 20%, which is Clam Slash, and that will increase it to around 132 damage if my math is correct. If you do it the other way around, your Clam Slash would then be attacking 110 damage. Let's say we're ignoring any bonus or class advantage bonus for now, just the card itself. It will do 110 damage and then apply 20% buff on you. So your next skill will be increased by 20%. And then let's
Right.
say you cast Cockadoodle Doo. Since it's not an attack skill, your attack buff from your Clam Slash is going to stay, and
Yes.
then it will stack on that. So your next skill, let's say Fish Hook, will then be increased by 40% total. One
And
from
then
your
it would add
Clam
a buff
Slash
for
buff, and then
20%
one
for the
from the
next round.
Cockadoodle Doo. Does that make sense?
Yes. So for my understanding, when you play a card, the attack comes first and the buff comes
Mm-hmm.
second. So
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
if I was to play Cockadoodle Doo and then I was to play Clam Slash, I would get my
Mm-hmm.
plus 20% from the Cockadoodle Doo. Then I would apply that to the 110, do the attack, and then it would apply the next buff, which is the attack plus for beast, bug, or mech.
Yep.
And then if I applied fish hook, it would use the buff from Clam Slash on the fish hook, and then it would apply an attack plus for plant, reptile, or dusk on the next attack.
Exactly.
And if I played Cock-a-doodle-doo, because there is no attack, it would stack this on top. So I would now have 40% if I hit a plant, reptile, or dusk, or a 20% if I hit anything else.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh my God, I've got it. I feel so clever right now. So clever, chat.
Great job, Steve.
I know there's some people that are going to struggle with this. So it's, look, I am willing to sacrifice my own ego well, not to appear stupid, because there are moments where I do struggle with this. So I would rather get clarification on this so that we all understand, because there are some people who are really going to struggle with this, and this is what makes the difference in a game. It's not about just throwing out random cards. It's making sure that you... And remember last week's session. You've got your combo bonuses. You've got all of the other stackable bonuses. And when you apply these with those, this can be the difference between a kill or not.
True. That's definitely
all right,
true.
I'm ready. Let's go. I feel like I'm ready to learn some more.
Okay, so next debuff is chill. Chill apply when applied, basically you won't be entering last stand. Last stand is a like a Axie entering a special state where the next attack will reduce its tick, the last stand tick, instead of the armor or the HP. I will explain that further later, but basically it turns off that feature. Chill. So next is fear. For fear, if you are affected by this, basically you'll miss your next attack. So for balloon, that applies since it's only one turn, as it says there on the card. And then for terror chomp, this is one of the most OP card, since if this is activated correctly, by the way, this is a chain card. So another Axie from your team should be using a bug card basically to activate this.
So
but
what
this
does a
will
chain card
apply
mean?
to
Can you explain?
fears.
I know we've done this before, but could you recap on a chain combo?
Okay, so for chain combo to activate, it has to involve at least two axes and using the same type of card. So let's say you have a tank with Terror Chomp, which is a plant, but it has a Terror Chomp skill, and then your mid is, let's say, a reptile, which has a Terror Chomp skill as well. That would activate the effect or the trigger effect for the
Does it
chain,
have
which
to be
is
the same
applying
card?
fear.
Does it have to be two Terror Chomps, or could it be a different card?
It could be a different bug card,
card.
but it
Okay.
has to be a bug card.
But it
Yeah.
has to be a bug card, but it can be any bug card. So as long as
Mhm.
two separate axes both use a bug card, then that the fear debuff will apply.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, I've got that. That's easy.
All right. So again, I would like to emphasize on the Terror Chomp card, because this effectively will make your Axie miss for two cards. So it's like a 1-for-2 value, since he'll only use one Terror Chomp, and then you'll be missing your next two cards, even the effect. So let's say even if it's not a damaging skill, let's say it's a Cock-a-doodle-doo, which should have increased your Axie's attack by 20%, it would not take effect. So it's basically a waste of card. The next
but it still
two
does
cards.
120 attack, so I mean it's still a powerful card.
Well, it's actually a very OP, since 120 attack and making your enemy miss
Two cards,
or
yes.
waste his two cards. Yes, it's very powerful.
Okay, so can you just recap on chill? What does chill do?
So chill would make your enemy not enter last stand.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I'll explain what
if
last
they're
stand is
chilled,
for
then
those
they
who are not
can't go
yet aware what
into
it is later.
last stand.
Mhm.
Perfect. Okay, so if you kill them and they're in chill, then they'll just die.
Yes.
Perfect. So good for a beast, maybe.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, actually, any Axie, but definitely most value would be against a beast. Yep.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
All right. So fragile. Fragile is applied by one card, which is Buzzing Wind. What this does is it doubles the damage, any incoming damage for your shield. So let's say you put up a 200 shield on your tank Axie, but it got affected by a fragile debuff. The next damage, let's say 100 damage, will effectively deal 200 damage on your shield. So that completely removes the shield. So a very effective card against tanks or those axes that heavily um, depend on their shields to survive.
That makes sense. Okay, so
Hmm.
that applies fragile, and fragile doubles the damage, but only to the shield, not to the health.
Only to the shield, yes, not to the health.
Understood. Understood. Okay.
Exactly.
And that's a zero
And
energy
then,
card as well.
mhm, sorry.
And that's a
Oh yeah, it's
zero
a
energy
zero
card.
card. Yep. And the next is Jinx. Any Axie affected by this debuff cannot land hits for the next. I'm sorry, cannot land critical hits for the next round. So even if you have a card that guarantees you a crit, let's say we're all familiar with Ronin. If Ronin is comboed with two cards, any other cards, then you would guarantee that the Ronin hits as a critical. But if you are applied with Jinx, even with that trigger effect, it completely over negates that effect, and you'll just be doing the regular damage and not a critical hit.
Okay, that makes sense.
So this,
So
mhm.
Jinx is going to remove the ability to do a critical hit. What if they use
Yes.
something like Ronin and they guarantee a critical hit? How does that work?
Oh yeah,
Which takes
that's
precedent?
what I said. So even if you have a card that guarantees you a critical hit, it will negate that.
There you go. Okay, I was
It
just reading through the
overpowers it.
comments.
Yep.
Sorry.
Supersedes.
Perfect. So okay, so this is really good against beasts or
Hmm.
those pesky Terminator stroke Aqua Beast
Yeah.
combos that we're starting to see
Hmm.
these days.
Yep. Hmm.
Okay, good. So this, I feel like I'm learning a lot about buffs and debuffs today. I think this is going to help me a lot more in games because there have been times in games where I've had a debuff like chill and I don't even know what it does. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's cool. I've got a little icon above my head, and I just keep playing.
Yeah. So it really helps if you know what is being applied to you, so you could work around it or do a countermeasure against a specific debuff.
Ladies and gentlemen,
And
by the way, in the chat, two things. First, can we get a hashtag Coach Cody in the comment section, please? Give some hearts, give some shares, give some love. Coach Cody dropping some absolute knowledge bombs here. And number two, we're going to post the slides as well as all of the buffs and debuffs in the Discord for the scholars after this session. So please, if you're a scholar and you need this information, we're going to post that in the scholar chat after this, so you will be able to get it. All right, Coach Cody. This one
all
looks
right.
good.
So for oh yeah. So the next debuff is lethal. So this guarantees that you will well, the specific card death mark, if your axis is below 30% HP, you will apply lethal onto the enemy so that the next attack you do, whatever it is, it will be a guaranteed critical. But again, if you were, let's say, applied by a debuff like Jinx, even if you have the enemy on lethal, you would still not hit a critical. So Jinx is very powerful in that way, since it negates any critical that will be done by that Axie. But let's say, okay, you applied lethal on the enemy. So again, this is a debuff on the enemy, and your current Axie, let's say your beast um is applied or has a debuff of Jinx. So instead of attacking with your beast, you could just attack with a different Axie that doesn't have the Jinx, so you don't actually waste your lethal debuff on your enemy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. And also, it's
Hmm.
really interesting to know that some buffs and debuffs have priorities over others. So it seems like
Yeah.
Jinx
Hmm.
seems to have priority over most.
Yes. Hmm.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
All right. Then for morale down, it's basically just the reverse of morale up. So it's still very RNG, since even having a high morale doesn't guarantee you a crit, but it should effectively increase your chances. But again, if you have
I,
been applied by Jinx, there's no chance that you'll be hitting, even if you have like more than 5 ticks of morale up.
I've been affected by this card, so morale down. See, I've been affected by this card and I never even knew it. I normally get affected at the start of the match in round 1 when I see 2 reptiles.
Mm-hmm.
That causes morale down for me.
Mm-hmm. So basically, it's just the opponent reducing your chance of landing any critical hits.
Oh, it just normally makes me want to quit the game. But okay, no, I understand. So morale down to enemies
Mm-hmm.
applies negative morale for 2 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
it doesn't mean 2 reptiles and you have to quit the game. That's not the
Yep.
morale down that
Nope.
we're talking about here. We're talking about a
That's a
card.
different
We're
morale.
talking about a card,
Mm-hmm.
which, if applied, will negate the chance for a critical hit to the enemy for 2 rounds. Still means they can hit a critical, but there's a lot less chance of them doing it.
Yes.
Perfect.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay, excellent. So, moving swiftly on.
All
Poison.
right. So the next debuff, this debuff you would see a lot in higher MMRs, maybe around 1,800 and up, which is poison.
Okay, so this
Poison
doesn't
is
apply to
very
me. I'm going to sit this one
yes.
out.
Okay.
We
Well,
don't get
you
this
should
in my
still learn
1K
since
level.
eventually we'll all aiming for a high MMR to increase our effective SLP gains per arena win. Anyways, poison basically it applies a tick per per poison debuff, and then you will get twice the damage for every card used next. So let's say you have a um currently a 5 or let's say a 4. Let's say you have a 4 tick poison on your current Axie. If your opponent does one action, it immediately reduces your HP, not your shield. So it goes directly to your HP and it reduces by 2 times that tick value. So 4, basically, if he does 2 moves, you automatically lose 8. Sorry, 8, 16. Yeah, so 16 because
Yes,
it's 2 moves.
16.
So yeah, so that what's poison does, and yeah, it's very powerful since again it's every card move. So let's say on a total round you have let's say 10 ticks, and then there's a total of 10 cards used. So that's 10 multiplied by 2, then multiplied by 10 again. So that's
Wow.
around 200
About
damage already.
200 damage.
If
And so they
that
stack as
happens,
well.
yes, they stack.
Wow. Okay.
Hmm.
And every 15 cards they refresh, so you get more. So if you go into a later game and these ticks, but obviously these can be removed, right?
Yes, with a cleanse card,
Okay.
but it would stay permanently until your Axie dies or it is removed by a special card, which is cleanse.
Okay. So unless
Hmm.
you remove this debuff, it will stay with you until you die. Meaning if you
Yes.
plant this on an enemy early in the game and you start stacking it, this
Hmm.
this is gonna scale quite quickly. So mid game,
Yeah.
it can change a game.
Yep. Definitely. And it's really powerful. Definitely and it's being utilized by top tier teams. Um, in the around 2,000 and or even 1.8 MMR range.
Wow. Okay.
Hmm. So next is sleep. So sleep is a very special debuff. So sleep, what it does is it negates or it ignores your opponent's shield. So let's say you cast sleep on an opponent which has 200 shield and only let's say 50 HP. This card will directly deal the damage on the HP and effectively killing your
Wow.
opponent even if he has that shield up. Also,
Wow.
aside from the card itself, the next card or the next attack card you use would also ignore the HP. So let's say you have again, on my example, you have around 150 HP and then let's say 300 armor. If your opponent uses a sleep and then let's say 100 attack card, that will all go directly to your HP, ignoring all the shield that you have put up on your Axie.
This
So
this
it's a
card
very
is
powerful
so
card.
powerful. This card is so powerful. It's literally just sent Alfred to sleep in the chat. That's how powerful this card is. Good night, Alfred. Take care, my friend. Wow. Okay, so
Good night.
sleep negates shield.
Yep. Ignores it.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow.
All right.
Okay. I've been hit by that
Just
before and didn't even
uh,
realize.
just so everyone knows, this is my team is Currently using sleep strategy as well. My backline Aqua is using double talk, since a lot of high tier teams have terminators, which depends on their sticky goo and high shield to effectively stay alive and deal more damage. So yeah,
Yeah, so
sleep is
if
a
you're
good
playing
counter
against
for those type
reptiles,
of Axies.
this could be, yeah, nice. Okay, interesting.
Mhm.
And I think this is really important as well, is to understand that the shield doesn't necessarily apply to the front line. It's not just a plant on the front line that has a shield. In fact, you're more
Mhm.
likely to find a big shield on your midline reptile.
Mhm. That's true.
And this is a card that can definitely turn that battle. If you're a double aqua against a reptile and you just can't seem to get ahead because you're constantly battling through that shield,
Mhm.
this could turn that game for you.
Definitely.
Wow. Okay, I'm learning lots.
Okay, we're almost done with the debuff. So the
I know
last
this one
debuff
well.
is a stun.
We all know this
So
one well. We've all been on the receiving end of this
yep.
debuff.
So definitely you haven't, if you haven't been stunned yet, you haven't played
You
Axie
haven't
yet.
played
So
enough.
since a lot of teams have at least one type of this card that applies stun. So it's anesthetic bait, sticky goo, and chomp. So this sticky goo and chomp combo is very popular nowadays, especially with the reptile that is called Terminator. It's very effective in high MMR as well. And again, it utilizes stun. So what stun does, it's like combining fear and sleep in one debuff. So what happens is if your opponent that is stunned attacks, he will not deal any damage or miss, and also the effect of the card that he used will also not be activated. So yeah, that's one effect. And then also if you attack an opponent that is stunned, your next attack will go directly to your opponent's HP. So let's say he uses a chomp and then uses a thorny caterpillar, which is one of the another high damaging combo of, or high damaging card of a terminator. The damage of the thorny caterpillar will be directly applied to your HP, even if you have 200 armor. You might still die if you have less than around 100 HP.
Wow.
Does that
I
make
did not
sense?
know that. So stuns are extremely powerful because they're basically dual purpose.
Yep. They can be used offensively to ignore your opponent's shield, and also defensively by making sure that the opponent's next attack will miss.
Wow.
Very powerful.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I think we all understand. We've all been a part of this, and to know that they can be chained together as well. So if someone was to apply maybe a sticky goo, because sticky goo can only be applied once per round, but then it
Yep.
says chomp. So I've seen these double stun cards played before. How does that work?
Okay. So since sticky goo is used definitely defensively, so if an opponent attacks you, okay, and breaks your shield, you get stunned. So let's say you're doing a 4 card combo, and then on your second attack you break your opponent's shield. Your third attack is guaranteed to miss,
Yes.
so effectively wasting your energy and your third card, and then um apply still on the fourth card. It should still go through. And then if your opponent uses chomp, let's say before you attack, the opponent has applied chomp, so that makes a 4 card that you'll be using. Effectively it's just going to how do I say it? You would basically, a 4 card will turn into a 2 card combo instead, since you are guaranteed to miss at least
Two
two
card. Yes.
card effects on that
Yep.
combo that you did.
Makes sense.
hmm
Makes sense. So it's almost like
That's what's really
applying and
powerful.
then reapplying as well.
Yep. hmm
Wow. Okay. Nice. All right. That's powerful. And that makes sense. And I've seen a lot of this,
hmm Very
even at
popular.
my low MMR.
Yeah, even in low MR there are termies, and a lot of hate is spread in the community, asking why are there terminators at around 1,300 MMR. Basically, some players like to decrease their MMR and then possibly guarantee a higher win rate ratio. So that's why they like to stay on the lower. But
Smurfing in
if you do,
Axie.
yeah, that's smurfing basically. But if you do the math, if you could actually like stay on a higher MMR and like maybe at least get 50% win rate, it's better than getting, let's say, an 80% win rate on 1,300, because the SLP rewards increases dramatically as you
Yeah.
progress your MMR.
And I think it's
Hmm.
fair to say as well that Sky Mavis are monitoring this and they are looking at the data very
Hmm.
diligently. So there will be balances and there will be
Yep.
meta changes to be able
Penalties as well.
to be able to deal with this. So whilst
Hmm.
this works now, if you're watching a replay of this, it's very possible that the game might have updated. There are so many changes coming out so often
Hmm.
right now that we have to continuously be aware. And that's why it's important. Not this is what we're doing today is we're giving you a basic understanding of advanced principles. But you have to keep that knowledge updated. This is why it's so
Hmm.
important to be in the Discord so that you can communicate with Coach Cody and you can continue this conversation, because as things change to the meta, Coach Cody's going to let you know. And you're not going to get those
Definitely.
updates by watching a replay. You need to continuously be involved in the community, which is why it's so important. So this is good to give you that grounding, but remember that you need to, once you understand it, this is about understanding. Then you need to just keep that topped up so that you can apply the changes as you move forward.
Yep. So actually, there's still a couple more debuffs. So
Sure.
let's just run through them. Speed down. So speed down, basically is the reverse of speed up. It
Yep.
reduces your axis speed stat by 20%. Okay, you mentioned earlier that does it negate if, let's say, you have a speed up and then an opponent applies a speed down on you? Then yes, it does negate it on the stat wise, but the debuff still stays. So
Yes.
what I'm trying to say here is, let's say you use two speed ups and then your opponent used Mystic Rush on you. Then the Thorny Caterpillar next, there's a special effect for Thorny Caterpillar, and that is if your opponent has a debuff, it will deal additional, I think, 20% damage. So let's say your opponent has used two speed ups and you just applied one speed down. Even if the opponent would just show on his actually like one tick of speed up, so technically you can't see the debuff anymore since there's more speed up on that axis, the system still knows that you have applied a debuff. So that still will increase the damage for your Thorny Caterpillar. So that's something that you should take note of. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
That makes sense.
Hmm.
So
So,
we've got speed
yeah,
up, we've
go
got
ahead.
speed down, and one thing that I'm interested in is you've said here that it's 20%. I'm assuming
Yep.
every buff and every debuff is 20%.
Yes.
Makes
Yes.
life easier for
The
now. In terms of
stats.
speed
Yep.
up,
Hmm.
attack, it's all 20%.
Yep.
Good. Okay.
Okay. And then another debuff is the stench. Stench, basically, if you are affected by this debuff, the next axes that are attacking or that will attack would effectively skip that axis with stench. So you could actually do a backdoor by applying stench on your enemy, and then the next again axis will ignore that axis with stench. Okay.
Okay.
So
Unless you
it's
apply the
rarely
links
used,
buff.
but it's good that if you encounter this axis, you know how to play against it. So let's say your opponent, you can do a counterplay is, let's say you expect your opponent to use poofling or let's say chemical warfare, you could put up some shield on your next or on your midline axis. So since you know that it will be skipping your tank for the next axis
C-
attacks.
Can we just take a moment and show some appreciation for Sky Mavis and their game developers for
Hmm.
bringing a card into the game called Poofling? Kudos. Well played. Okay, so Stench.
Yep,
Apply
that's
stench
it.
to enemy for 1 round, or apply stench to target until end of round. Okay, so can
Yep.
you just recap? And just while you're recapping stench, I just want to ask chat. Chat, does this make sense so far? Do you understand what's being said? Are we explaining this clearly? Is this okay? And while they're answering, can we just go over one more time? Can you explain stench one more time just to recap on that?
Sure. So if your axis is applied by stench, the next attacks of your opponent's Axie will ignore that your Axie that is applied with stench. So let's say your tank has stench debuff, then if another Axie initiates an attack, it will go directly to your mid Axie.
Perfect. So it's almost like a ignore me.
Yes.
Perfect.
So you become invisible, like John
Awesome.
Cena.
So, okay, perfect. So, yeah, people are saying very clear, all good. Perfect. Okay, good, right. Very, very good. It's Coach Cody. Very, very nice at explaining, right? Yeah, so that's a really good example there. So stench basically, well, effectively turns you into a back door by making you invisible. So you'll go to, maybe not a back door in the back line, but definitely maybe the mid or...
The next in line,
yeah, the next in
yes.
line. So, but that in itself could be powerful. Maybe a mid door rather than a back door.
Yep, something like that.
Okay.
All right. So next game mechanic is the last stand. So for this one, the higher morale an Axie, the higher the chance to enter last stand. And when receiving a finishing blow, the closer the Axie's HP is to 0, the lesser its chances to enter last stand. And also, the higher damage of the finishing attack, the lesser the chance for the dying target to enter last stand.
Okay.
So let's say a beast with around, I believe, maybe around 55 to 61 morale would effectively have a higher chance on entering last stand if the damage or the killing blow applied to it is not more than there's a calculation for this. So it's the excess damage against your morale multiplier, which is your morale multiplied to the remaining HP divided by 100. But again, we want to keep things simple. You don't need to compute every round if your opponent will enter last stand or not. So you just have to to remember these three bullets. The higher morale and Axie, the higher the chance to enter last stand. And when you are receiving or dealing a finishing blow, the closer the Axie's HP is to 0, the lesser its chance to enter last stand. So, for as an example, let's say your opponent has 150 HP and you can deal around 170 damage with two cards, one 100 and the other 70. If you would like the opponent to not enter last stand, it would actually be better to use the high damage first, which is 100, and then next is 70. Because if you deal the 100 damage first, his HP will just be 70. Oh, sorry, it will just be 50 because he has 150 HP. It will just be 50, and then your 70 damage has an excess damage of 20. If it's an Aqua, which is a multiplier of around 335, it would not enter last stand anymore. Compared to if you say you use 70 damage first, effectively reducing your opponent's HP to 80, and then you use 100 damage, that would allow your opponent to still enter last stand and possibly do more plays with against you. So
Okay.
does that make sense? The second bullet.
You lost me a little bit with the numbers there, but so firstly, for those of you that don't know, if you're new to Axie or you're not aware, last stand are when you die, they're the ticks, the counters underneath your character. A maximum of, I believe, 3. And
Beasts.
they allow for the next card to be played to remove one of those ticks until you die. So it's effectively the ability to continue on living after death. You're guaranteed to die, but depending on how high your morale is, depends on when you die.
You get some
it can
extra
be up
turns.
to 3 ticks, and they're removed by using a card, either your card or an enemy's card. So they can be used offensively or defensively.
Yeah.
And what is being said here by Coach Cody, and there's a few people here that got a bit confused, and that's okay. We're going to break this down now. So, in simple terms, the ability to go into last stand depends on your morale. The higher the morale, the more chance that you will go into last stand. And depending on how many ticks you get, depends on also how much morale you've got, but also the attack that's done that sends you into last stance. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So could you maybe just clarify on the second bullet there,
Second.
just to
Okay.
hopefully help to, because I appreciate, guys, this is a complex subject. I get that, but let's see if we can just dumb it down for me.
Okay. So the second bullet basically says that if your opponent's HP is closer to 0, there is a lesser chance that he will enter last stand. For my example, let's say your opponent has 150 HP.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you have two cards that you could use to kill it, one is 100 damage
Yep.
and one is 70 damage.
Okay,
So
so he's got 150 HP, and I can do 170 damage.
yes, split by 170, right? So if you just throw your cards like either or on any other order, it basically still deal 170 damage. But what we're avoiding here is for your opponent to enter last stand, and to do that, you have to reduce his HP closer to 0. And how do you do that? You attack with a higher damaging card first.
Yes.
So you attack with the 100 damage first, so he has around 50 HP. And then if you hit him with a 70 damaging card, if he is an aqua, again, I did the math already, he would not enter last stand anymore.
Okay. So that additional
Other way around.
damage would take him
Go
out
ahead.
of last stand.
Yes. Since the computation is again excess damage versus your morale multiplier. Now, since your if you reverse that and you leave your opponent first with, let's say, 80 HP, and you just, so it's farther than 0 compared to the other one, which reduces his HP first to 50, right? If you use 100 attack first. Now, if you reverse that and you use your 70 damage first, so your opponent still has 80 HP. And then if you attack with 100, if it's an aqua with the multiplier of again, I think I could probably type in the chat later on what is the actual computation for this. But basically, if you want to avoid your opponent to enter last stand, make sure to attack him with your higher damaging card first.
Right.
That's how you do it.
Okay. Or use a card that has a ability to stop them going into last stand.
Like Shoal Star, yes.
Yeah. Perfect.
There are some cards like that. Yep.
Does that make sense, chat? Do we understand? Have we caught up? Because I think that was a lot of maths, and the example was a complex one, but I think that what we're trying to understand here and what we're trying to remember is that when you send an enemy into last stance, the chance of them going into last stand depends on how much health they're left with. So use your higher damage cards first, so they've got lower HP, so that then there's less chance they're going to go into last stand.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, that's amazing.
Exactly.
All right.
And then for the third bullet,
there's a third?
this is
yes.
The higher damage of the finishing attack, the lesser chance the chance the dying target to enter last stand as well. So this is basically the second bullet supersedes the third bullet. So again, if you are just avoiding last stand, it's better to first use a strong card first before your lesser damaging card. But what the third bullet is saying is, if let's say you deal 2 strong damage, let's say both 100, and then your opponent just has 150 HP, then it will basically say that, or determine that the opponent won't enter last stand anymore.
Okay. Yep. So basically what we just mentioned and what we talked about in terms of the order that you play your cards is important.
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Try
Thank
to
you so
attack
much.
the opponent with your higher damaging card first,
Yes.
if you want to avoid last stand. Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next.
Brian Lualati sent 50 stars. Shout out Smooth Love Potion GRP Anxies.
Okay.
All right. So now let's talk about the mechanics to improve your gameplay. First is energy counting. It should be an easy task. Everyone here should know how to count. adding and subtracting the energy of your opponent based on what skills you and your opponent have used is not that hard of a task. So, but if you do this, this would effectively tell you how to make plays on the following rounds. So let's say you know that your opponent um has remaining, let's say, 2 energy. He used all of his energy on the previous round. Then you can effectively just pass if you have a tank that still has a decent amount of armor. I mean HP left, and then effectively saving your cards and energy as well for the next turn and prepare for an all-out attack. This also goes, let's say you have counted that he has around 3 energy and your tank would die with a 3 card attack from your enemy. So you could effectively increase your tank's shield so that you are guaranteed that even if he does use all 3 energy, your tank would still live. Does that make sense on how you could effectively improve your gameplay by counting energy?
Absolutely. And there's a few people in the chat now that are saying, and I agree with this is the hardest. I always get lost when I'm counting energy. This is definitely one of those things that if you take your eye off the ball or if you lose focus, you will forget. And it can be helpful. It can be helpful as you're starting out to have a pen and a bit of paper next to you and just jot down. And because it just allows you to glance down very quickly and you can just write down 2, 3, 1, just so that you have an idea, just very small. And that way, this is one of the things that when you can do it, you start to do it subconsciously. Now,
that's true.
What do I mean by that? If you were to drive a car, and I used this example before, if you were to drive a car, the first time you ever get into that car, especially if it's a manual car with a stick shift, the first time you ever get into that car, you're going to have to learn a lot of different mechanics. You're going to have to learn mirror, signal, maneuver, accelerator, brake, clutch, gear changes, as well as how the car reacts. And so the first time you ever get into a car you can be quite nervous because there's so many things to remember. But if you've been driving a car for maybe 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years, you get in that car, you go from A to B and you don't even think. You're part of that car. It's like an extension of you because you know how it works. And this is the same thing. And the reason that works is because you take something that you're learning. And when you're learning about something, you're learning about it in your mind, okay? In your conscious. You're consciously learning. And as soon as you've learnt that, your mind then moves that into your subconscious, which the subconscious part of the brain does things automatically. Like breathing. You don't sit there every morning and go, breathe in, breathe out, breathe it, because you go mad if you had to think about that every time you needed to breathe. So you breathe subconsciously, you just do it. And this is the same. You need to be able to learn this, and that comes through practice and repetition, because when you practice this and when you repeat this over and over, 10, 20, 100, 1,000 games, then you'll start to see a card that's played and just go, okay, he's got, and you'll just know. You'll just know what energy they've got. So you need to practice. This is probably one of the most important things I can tell you about this is to get better at energy counting, you need to practice. Coach Cody, any points to add to that?
Keep playing those games. No, you actually went through everything that I would like to say. Keep playing those games. Recognize what cards increases or decreases energy. Like for example, a lot of people gets confused with Goda and Nightsteel. These are beast cards. Goda destroys energy, so it doesn't steal it. It just destroys your energy. And then Nightsteel, it destroys your energy, and also your opponent would gain that stolen energy. So, but again, since it's a steal, if you effectively have no energy anymore, then you don't have to add 1 energy to your opponent on your counting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so the first thing to understand when I think what you're saying here is you need to first of all understand how many cards an enemy's played, because every card that's played, not every card technically, because some are 0 energy costs, but you need to know how much energy has been expended on each card. And I don't think, are there any 2 energy cards in the game right now?
Yes, there is one, Strawberry.
Strawberry. So apart from Strawberry, which for learning, you can ignore to start with. And the zero energy and the 2 energy for now, as you're getting started, you need to understand most cards right now are 1 energy. So assume if they've played a card, unless you are more advanced and you can spot it, then if they played a card, they've expended 1 energy. So that's the first thing you need to understand. When they start the game, they start with 3 energy. If they play 3 cards, then technically they should have 0 energy. Every round, they gain energy. So you need to be able to get into the basics first of understanding, okay, they had 3 energy, and then the next round they have 2 energy, so they've not played any cards, they've got 5 energy.
Yep.
Then you need to understand, after you understand that, so start there as the basics. Once you understand that, the basics, then you can start looking at the next level, which is, okay, they played a card, they had 3 energy, they played a card, which means they had 2 energy, but they stole energy from me, so now they have 3 energy again. Then the round ends and they've got 2 energy from the next round, so now they're back up to 5. So go slowly. You don't have to learn all of this at the same time, but just start by knowing when they play a card, they use energy. Count the energy as a starting point, and when you're confident with that, move on to the energy destroyed, energy stolen, energy gained. That's going to help you, chat. That's going to help you.
Yep. Perfect. Okay, I think that's it for counting energy.
Yeah, I think that is. If there are any questions in counting energy, this again, just to reiterate, this comes down to practice. You can understand the fundamentals by listening to Coach Cody, but you will only turn them into your subconscious when you play and when you practice. Okay, you have to do the homework to be able to learn this to the level that you need to be able to do it without thinking. Okay, so practice makes perfect. And also, practice makes SLP.
That's true.
All right, moving on.
All right. So the next is to know your team composition. What I mean by this is to before you can reach a high or decent MMR, you should know what each of your Axie's main task is. Um, it's obvious that your frontliner is your tank, but how can you maximize him? What are his skills, and when do you use them? Also, how do you set up a quick kill against your opponent's mid Axie using your mid Axie? Like for example, this is the team that I recommended our
I
scholars to
know this
use.
team. I know this team well. Some of our scholars know this team very well now.
Mhm. So for the tank, the build is Pumpkin, which is a draw card, but also a brick card. When I say brick, is it stops your opponent from securing a kill because it applies a very high armor. And then Vegetal Bite or Vegibite is a steel energy card, which is could disrupt your opponent's flow or strategy by stealing his energy. And then for your disguised card, is a 0 energy cost, as mentioned by Steve. There are some cards that are 0 cast, and also this even generates energy if used with another plant card. So this is very effective into ensuring that on your next turns you can do your combos. And then for the fourth card of the plant, it's Hot Butt. What it does, it deactivates the mouth card of the Axie that it has attacked, and also does a decent amount of damage and applies a decent amount of shield. So what do I mean? So for, let's say, let's just focus on the tank. What do we know about our tank? Our tank can generate a lot of energy, can brick an enemy, or can stop an enemy from securing a kill using high armor cards like Pumpkin and Hotbutt, and also turn off very key cards for opponents that are mouth. Like for example, Chomp, your opponent's Vegetal Bite, Zigzag, which is a drain or a life steal, and Double Talk as well is very meta right now. And with Hotbutt, you can turn or disable those cards. Again, a lot of mouth cards that are very effective right now in arena that you could turn off with Hotbutt. So that's our tank. So for our mid Axie, as you can see, the Axie is a hybrid. It's not chop suey, since again this type of Axie is well thought of. And what this does is it bursts any tank enemy, even if it's on a disadvantage. Again, normally aquas are at a disadvantage against plants and reptiles. But with this card, if you do a 4-card combo, even if the opponent has around, let's say, 150 or 200, with Risky Fish, Ronin, and then Risky Fish, Ronin, that's around that's 100 sorry 200 for Ronin if it's a critical with an attack buff. So two of those, that's 400 damage already, and then two Risky Fish is another 200, so that's around 600 damage. So definitely you could um kill opponent reptile and plant with this mid lane aqua. So that's the role of our mid lane. It's to obliterate or kill your opponent's tank Acties. And our third aqua, it is a high damage, high defense Axie backliner with also capabilities to go or to apply speed on itself, and possibly get that speed boost and do or have the first turn. Let's say you're up against another aqua or up against a bird, then you can guarantee that you will go first and also do a 4-card all in after, securing your win. So yep. So again, knowing your team composition, I'm not saying that everyone should get this type of team, but you have to know what your each of your acti does, and make sure to utilize them to their specialty, or to what they are actually meant for.
And I
Does that
think
make
this
sense?
is one of those things. I mean, I'm using this right now, and I know Jeffrey's in the chat as well, and he's using this as well, because we're starting to transition into this as a standard meta for our scholars, which is why we're using it. And I love that you've done this, because there were cards that you recommended, and I'll give you an example, Biden's. And I looked at that card and I thought, that makes no sense to me. I didn't understand it. I couldn't see the purpose of it. And it seemed like a wrong choice in my mind. But I trusted you because of your MMR and because of your experience. So I listened to you. And when I played it, wow. Instantly, I got it. Like, it's a game changer. Biden's is a game changer.
Yeah.
And
So
when you play double Biden's and you can brick an enemy,
mhm.
it's so OP. So pog
Yeah.
right now.
And again, that's for 0 energy. So that
Yeah.
that extra 100 armor, you effectively just use 0 energy. So the next turn that let's say you brick your enemy, he only does around 300 damage, and so you reduce it by 100 with the Biden. So the next turn you can do a 4-card all in, since you only use 2 energy, or let's say 0 energy even, and then go for the kill for the against your enemy, since he already used his 4 energy.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
it's a very powerful team. We're gonna do our best to transition our existing scholars. I mean, we have to. We can't breed this at the moment. It's very, very difficult right now to be able to breed this. There's not a lot of breedable Axies out there, especially breedable virgins with this lineup. It's very hard to get hold of. I hope and I believe in the future there is going to be the ability to recycle Axie to change the DNA. So we may be able to build some breeding Axie. That might be a possibility. We'll have to see. But for now, what we're finding with our sponsors is that it's easier just to buy these outright and not breed them. And that's why we've got the model that we've got with our sponsors. And we did it the other day in Discord. We actually went on and we estimated that this team right now costs somewhere in the region of 0.7 Ether. We actually managed to pick this up a bit cheaper. So this can cost up to 0.75 Ether for this team. This is not as mentioned. Cody's mentioned this. This is not a chop suey team. Even though it's not a pure team, it's what's classed as a hybrid. And the difference between a chop and a hybrid is carefully thought out. A chop is random and it's just thrown together. A hybrid is built with purpose. And so this is a purpose-built competitive Axie team. This is designed to get you up to the 2K bracket in Arena. Now,
True.
we're seeing the results of this. We went 90% with our win rate with this team the other day while streaming in Discord. We were able to win 9 out of 10 games with this. And that was at around, I think, the 12 to 1300 MMR bracket. This is a great team to play with. Great synergies, great lineups. And so you have to understand your team composition, but not limited to this team. Any team. You have to be able to understand as you grow and as you obtain more Axie in the future, because you'll look to buy a new Axie in the future so that you can swap your teams about.
Yeah,
If you're going
meta
into
changes. That's true.
certain environments, if you're going into certain MMR brackets, you cannot rely on the same free Axie to carry you. You will need to change things up depending on the meta, depending on the bracket, depending on the time of day that you play. Because certain times of day, there might be a certain time in a day when you're going to get the noobs in America who have never played before and haven't got a clue what they're doing, and you can spank their tanks all day long. Or you might come on at like prime time in Asia where you're up against absolute sweats. So you need to understand like all of the different factors that can help you to increase your MMR. It goes above and beyond this, but this is definitely a key part. So yeah, sorry Cody, just to explain that to the chat, I really want them to understand the power of the team that you've given here.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I was just saying that I wanted the chat to understand that the power of this team that you've provided. And this team is recommended by Coach Cody. And I mean, let us know, chat. Let us know. If you're a scholar, if you're in the Discord, if you're watching games with this, and you're going to see it, we're going to play some games with this lineup in a minute. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of this lineup. All right. Moving on, Cody. Oh, you.
Okay, so next game technique or gameplay mechanic is to take note of key skills. What I mean by this is we all know that what are the meta skills currently. Like let's say almost everyone has pumpkin. If it's not pumpkin, it's a watering can against aquas, which effectively generates energy if you are hit by any aquatic card. Also, there are chomps. There are mystic laggings. Basically, I'm just throwing out skills that are almost there in every game. And then also, let's also take note that there are some backdoor cards that you have to take note of. So what do I mean by taking note? So if your opponent has used, let's say, a pumpkin on round 1, that means that the likelihood that he'll be using another pumpkin on round 2 or 3 is very slim. Also, if he has already used, let's say, I think I mentioned this before, if the opponent has already used, let's say, 2 pumpkins within round 1 and round 2, then definitely, since his deck hasn't refreshed yet by round 3 and 4, he won't have that capability to increase his armor anymore, and you could definitely or easily compute on how many energy and cards you need to use to secure the kill. So taking note of key skills. Let's say another key skill is Vegetal Bite or Night Steal, which steals energy. If you know that your opponent has not casted yet any Vegetal Bite or Night Steal within round 1 and round 2, then most probably he is still holding on to those cards or just draw them. Then round 3, it would be beneficial for you to just use all of your energy, go all in, instead of having your opponent steal those precious energy from you and securing more opportunities for your opponent to do a combo the following round. Does that make sense, guys?
I think that makes perfect sense. And I mean, if I get that, I'm sure everyone else will get that. Because if I can get it, guys. But that does make sense because this is almost like energy counting, but now you're card counting.
Yes.
So you need to understand that the two of the most... Having a team, this is... Choosing your team composition and understanding your team composition and what cards do, that's stuff that you can do pre-game. That's stuff you can do without Axie whilst you're waiting for a team. This is stuff that you can learn. But when you're in a game, the mechanics that you need to learn are going to be energy counting and card counting. Now, there are two ways you can do this. One is to play, or two is to watch people play. Because you can still do the energy count whilst you're watching somebody, and then you can see if you were right. So I really recommend two key mechanics that you learn within this game that are going to help you generate more wins. Energy counting and card counting. And when I say card counting, what I mean is exactly what Coach Cody just said. It's about understanding that there's 15 cards in a deck, and it's normally round 5 before they refresh. Sorry, is it 15, Coach Cody?
Oh, it's 24.
24,
That's
sorry, I apologize.
8 cards
24.
per Axie.
24
Yep.
cards in a deck. And so they have to burn through those 24 cards. So it's effectively, it's 12 cards, not 15. It's 12 cards, but you get 2 of each. So you can go through 24 cards, and you're going to get 2 of each card.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because if you think there's 4 cards, 3 Axies, 4, 8, 12, doubled, 24.
Yep.
So once you've burnt through all of your cards twice, then they'll refresh. So if you use 2 pumpkins in round 1 and 2, you know that until they refresh, that enemy's not going to get 2 pumpkins. It's exactly like Coach Cody said. So then you know you can burst him. He's not going to be able to brick you. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm pretty sure it does. So moving on, Coach Cody.
All right. Where are we at right now? Sorry, I missed
skill sets.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hashtag Coach Cody in the chat, please. Let's give some love for Coach Cody. Give an absolute wealth of knowledge here for all of you.
Yep. So basically, I'm just showing you some skill sets or some aqua skills that are very meta right now, like Tail Slap, Risky Fish, Oranda, Lamb. You have to know this. I cannot go through everything as this would take time, but the key here is to get familiarized with each skill in each Axie class, and then try to think on how your opponent would be they would be using it, and make a counterplay against it. And also, this applies if you have this set of cards. How can you effectively use them against a specific type of Axie team? So again, this you cannot really fully grasp until you play a decent amount of games. So make sure to keep practicing, guys. All right, moving on.
I think it's also worth mentioning that whilst we're covering this here, there is a website that you can go to, and Fitzy, maybe you can post this in the chat to help people. If you go to axieworld.com, and you go to the tools section on the menu, there's a link for Cards Explorer. Cards Explorer allows you to select through filters any class, any part type, and it lets you see every card that's in the game.
Yep.
It's a really, really good tool to be able to use, to be able to understand and get to see all of the cards that are in the game.
Yep. It's very important to understand the cards, because as you can see, there is no card that is how do we call it in Hearts of Vanilla? Like each card, aside from its energy cost, attack and shield, there is always a text or an effect. So you have to recognize what this effect does, use them to your advantage, and also make a counterplay in case you notice that there is, like for example, a backdoor card which prioritizes furthest target. Then you know that if your opponent is possibly going to be using this by around round 3 or 4, you have to put some armor on your furthest Axie from your opponent, on your backline basically.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And again,
I think you
axieworld.com, you
updated
can
that already
go
before
and find
on
all
live
of this
stream.
information.
Okay, so basically this is the beast skill set. Most common ones are Sinister Strike, Goda, Cottontail, Nightsteel. Also another one that is um getting a lot of love right now is Hair Dagger. This card, if this is used by the Axie that attacks first, let's say you didn't you have a double aqua, but you're saving your energy and your cards since you don't have a good move. If your opponent uses a Hair Dagger and that beast goes first, he will be able to trigger the effect of draw a card. So you being an AAP team, you should know that you should at least use one card so that if your opponent does use Hair Dagger, then you effectively shut off the effect and limiting his card draws. Because again, card and energy opens up a lot of combo possibilities. So you want to limit your opponent's energy gain and card gain. Does that
Understood.
make sense?
Makes perfect sense. Limiting your opponent's energy and cards whilst maximizing your own.
Yep, that's the game plan. Bug skill set. Again, the common ones are snail shell, or sorry, sticky goo, which is which would stun your Axie if you break your opponent's armor. So again, how do you play against this? For example, our backline Axie has Bidens. So if you know that your opponent can put up, let's say, 100 armor, make sure to use 100 damage skill first, then use Bidens so that that zero cost and zero damage will be the one that's negated, and then you could go on and use your damaging skills again. So you could effectively reduce or kill your opponent's Axie with the snail shell. So there's a lot of counter plays. Even if you know that this card will stun you, you can actually play around it.
Makes perfect sense. And I think we
Okay.
all know the bug skill sets. We've seen them so many times. So many times in those games that we just can't quite win. That sticky goo, definitely a problem for a lot of people at the moment.
Okay. For the bird, it's normally things to watch out for are backdoor skills, which is wing shot and dark swoop. Wing shot is it will skip the nearest axis and go to the next one, and then dark swoop is target the fastest axis. Aside from that, it's also aroma, which would taunt or apply taunt on your own axis. So again, get familiarized with different skill cards. Even if you don't own these axes, it's good that you are familiar with the cards that they will use or might use against you.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Even if you don't have these, I think Coach Cody's made a great point there. Even if you don't have these cards, get to know them, because if your enemy plays them, you need to know how to counter them.
Yeah. So again, I would like to um go further in with the bird skill set. There's also one card here that is being used a lot in the current meta, which is Headshot or Kestrel. It turns off your horn cards. So what you do against or to play against this card is before he can use it or apply this disabling card, might as well use all your horn cards first before getting affected by disable, so that the next round you could still use all of your energy and your cards since you have already used your horn cards. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Do we get that? Do we get that? By the way, welcome BamG. BamG in the chat. Hashtag BamG. How you doing, brother? Hope you're good. Hope you're well. BamG, great guy. If you haven't checked out his channel yet, well worth it. And we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, definitely, guys, you need to understand these cards. If you're not playing Axie yet and you're waiting for your team, this is a great way for you to spend some time. Great way for you to spend some time. For you to be able to come in to these websites and educate yourself on the possibilities, meaning that when you do get your team, you're ready to go, you're going to climb that MMR a lot quicker. A lot quicker. Coach Cody, this is incredible. Thank you so much for what you're sharing today. Not only for what you're sharing, but for creating this. I think, did you say somebody helped you with the
Oh
aesthetics
yeah,
and
I
the
want
slides?
to thank Ems. He is
Ems.
actually a new member of our community, and he's very helpful. He extended his help and helped me come up with this presentation for you guys to learn and absorb.
Can we get a hashtag EMZ, EMZ in the chat? And EMZ, if you're watching, thank you ever so much. I want you to reach out to me, EMZ, when I have a chat with you, because I'm so grateful that you've gone above and beyond to help Coach Cody to create this. Visually, chat, do we like the presentation? Does it look good? Are you enjoying this? Is this okay for you so far? I mean, what these guys have put together, I'm blown away by. I mean, the knowledge and the content from Coach Cody is one thing. M's putting this into a visual representation that we can see and understand. I'm hoping you're enjoying this. I mean, I'm just streaming. I'm really here just to ask the stupid questions. That's my goal. But you to be able to learn, hopefully you're finding this useful. Coach Cody, I'm blown away, my friend. Thank you so much. And
You're
moving
welcome
on,
always,
because I
Steve.
know we're not done yet. We've got some plants. The Plantino, the Triple P, my meta.
All right. So these skills are normally most plant skills are tank skills. So if you can see, there's this in the middle, it's strawberry. That's the only 2 energy costing card right now, and it's 0 attack, 0 armor, and just does a lot of heals. So currently, it doesn't fit well in the current meta, and it doesn't get used much. So yeah, it basically uses 2 energy already. Doesn't put up any armor and attack. So possibly this card is due for a rework. Because again, I barely am able to see this card used in high MMR, or at least average MMR.
Mm.
And then things that you should definitely be aware of is watering can, especially if you are using AAP. What this skill does is if you attack the Axie using watering can, each aqua skill that you apply or attack with will generate your opponent 1 energy. So let's say you do a 4 card all in, all aqua skills. That's basically GG already if your opponent has 4 energy. Because again, more energy or more cards, more possibility combos or more combo possibilities for your opponent, and you could definitely have a hard time outplaying him anymore, since he has more possibilities or more play opportunities to apply against you.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, last one
Oh
is the
dear. Here we
reptile
go.
skill set.
Here we
So
go. I can
this
see
is
that morale card coming back
AAP's
into play.
greatest kryptonite. Basically, it's AAP's kryptonite because
And guys, just before Coach Cody,
oh, go
just
ahead.
before you mention, I just want to reiterate, meta changes every season.
Mhm.
What is meta now will be changed because people will counter that meta. So if AAP is out of meta right now, it will recycle. Give it 2 or 3 seasons and it will become meta again.
Mhm.
I don't want you to be too disheartened with your reptile matchups right now, which I know are painful.
Also, aside from meta changes, they also tweak or rework cards that have, let's say, because they have data about this. And
Yes.
Mavis, if they see that this card gets used too often and secures win too much, then they would look into this card, somehow balance it like a nerf hammer, and then effectively reducing, like, because again, for example, chomp and what else, like spike throw, these are really meta right now. If your opponent could really use these cards properly, basically it's an easy win for them. So this specific cards might be nerfed soon. Again, it depends on Mavis and also the data that they are able to gather, but they normally tweak cards from season to season
Yeah.
depending on their
Yeah,
win rate.
absolutely agree. And I think there's a lot,
Mhm.
like, they need to rework the crit mechanics because obviously that's broken. The stun mechanics,
Mhm.
like, they're aware. They know. They've got the data. So it's... And also now we're starting to push into the Axie esports. We've got the 2021 event schedule.
Yep.
All of the esports tournaments are starting to be distributed. We've started to see them happening. They've whitelisted the new tourney server. So this stuff's happening, and that as well is going to make a difference. Like, the reason I love Axie so much is because of the esports. Because I know that if they're pushing into esports, then there's going to be balances, there's going to be meta changes. I know it is going to be a game that's going to last above and beyond just something that's fun to play, like Pokemon. So I want you to know that anything right now that's challenging, like Coach Cody has just said, is subject to change. And when you just get comfortable, when you find that sweet spot, when you're winning your games, they'll change it again because that's what they do. So you need to be able to adapt. The key here is not learning to play your cards, but being able to adapt to other situations. Jumping out of your comfort zone, playing things that necessarily you wouldn't like or can't win with, and finding a way. If you can win with a team that's unwinnable, you can win with anything. So you need to understand a lot of these skill sets and a lot of these cards. And we've seen it with the scholars. How many of our own scholars have struggled, had a session with Coach Cody, and then gone on a win streak? Okay, it's not just about what you've got, it's about what you do with what you've got. It's not just your resources, it's your resourcefulness. I want you to remember that, chat, because it's important, because that's what wins SLP. Sorry, I know that there's a lot of morale busted up around this meta, and Reptile definitely triggers a few people. But Coach Cody, yeah.
All right. So moving on.
We're gonna leave Reptile behind, guys.
Yep.
Okay, both in this slide and in the game. We're gonna leave it behind.
Yep. So next is to build a game plan. So you should formulate a plan on how you will bring down your opponent the moment you get matched up. First thing to do is always check your opponent's Axie. Analyze why they came up with that lineup and how you will counter his moves. Because definitely, if you are on a good MMR range, the team that you'll be battling against, there's a reason why he's in that MMR range. And to move up further, you have to be familiar on what are the current teams that are in that range and make plays against them. You can't have like one game plan for every type of opponent. That that just can't happen. You have to formulate a plan. Let's say how you're gonna attack a RRP or a reptile plant, and how you're gonna attack fellow AAP maybe or an ABP. There's different strategies involved into different teams, and you have to formulate a plan on how to defeat whatever team you are matched up against. So try to stick to the plan as much as you could and be patient till you draw the cards or generate the energy you need to execute it properly. And remember, again, you need to adjust your playstyle and strategy every new match. Okay? Does that make sense? So
I
again,
think it makes perfect sense. And I'm just loving this slide right now. But go on, carry on.
So basically, I was just trying to give an example. Let's say, against maybe a plant, a bird. So let's say we're using the suggested team. You know that your beast would be the one using or killing the plant card, or I mean the plant axie. Why? Because if you use um the aqua skills, or I mean the skills from your backline aqua, which are aqua skills, it would have a harder time killing the plant opponent. And then even after you kill the plant opponent, then you are then matched up against a beast, and you running out aqua cards and just using your beast cards, let's say, then you cannot maximize your card and energy value. So again, try to formulate a plan and stick with it as long as you could. Again, it depends on how long you could um make your tank survive, and also how to generate energy and save cards. But again, try to come up with a plan and then stick with it.
Yeah, I agree. And if in doubt, ask yourself,
Pass.
what
I
would
thought you were
Coach
gonna say
Cody do?
pass.
What would Coach Cody do? And if you're in doubt, just pass. Just pass.
Just pass.
But I like this. This is so true. Should I attack now? I think Plant should tank one more round, and here we go again. I think this is a brilliant slide. Whoever made this, kudos. It's really good.
Good one, Ems. All right, so let's put it all together. Being aware of everything mentioned above will differentiate a good Axie player and an excellent Axie player. So having a plan, being aware of all that has happened, is happening, and about to happen will help you come up with a better decision. And make sure to remember, each tip and advice mentioned here and try to apply them to your games. As mentioned by Steve earlier, we have a Discord channel. If you have, or if you can, come join us. We do daily runs. Sometimes I would shadow, meaning I'll just watch a scholar, try to help him count it energy maybe, or advise him on what things he did wrong and what things he should keep on doing. And sometimes even I play myself and I commentate on what my thought process is, and hopefully you can pick some good habits from me and also learn from my mistakes as well. Because even mistakes, I would voice them out. Like I should have passed because this could have he has only three energy or something like that. So yeah, come join us daily. We do our arena runs.
Yeah, you need to be in the Discord. It's where it's happening. Discord is the place to be.
Yep. So I think we don't have enough much time. I wanted to play a video, but I think I'll just post this on my channel, Coach Cody channel on our Discord. So if you can
We can
come
play. If
join
you want to
us.
play it, we can.
Oh, we can.
If
Okay.
you want to, yeah.
Um. Sure.
Let me bring
So
up the Discord so you can. Are you able to share your screen, or how are you going to do it? Do you want to post a
I'll
video?
just ping it to you then. I think it's you have access to it. It's the Loom video that I shared.
Okay. Let me go back through. Was that in a chat with myself and you? Where was that?
Yes. Yes.
I can't see it. Was it in
Let me
the?
ping it again then.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Here.
Perfect. Okay, I'm going to play that right now. Okay, guys, just play this video.
Okay. Hi everyone. Coach Cody
There we go.
here.
It's playing.
Today's session we're going to discuss on how to counter
I don't think there's
or
any
how
audio,
to
is there?
adjust your gameplay based
Yes,
on
there is.
what your opponent might do or his synergies and react accordingly. Okay. So currently I am at 2,137 MMR. This game was just recorded, or I just played this 31 minutes ago. Um, let's see what happened and how I played and got this victory against a really annoying and really well thought of lineup. Okay, so right now I'm playing against a reptile tank with Terror Chomp, Bug Signal, Turnip Rocket, and Anesthetic Bait. So Terror Chomp activates its effect if it's played with other bug cards. Chain takes effect if another Axie on your team uses the same type of card, which is in this case a bug card. Then it will apply Fear to the target for 2 turns, which will in effect make your enemy miss or lose the effect of his first 2 cards, which is very powerful if used correctly. Bug Signal is also a chain effect skill that will steal opponent's energy if used with another Bug Signal card. So for Bug Signal, it has to be another Bug Signal, not just um, a random bug card. It's very strict for this one. And then Turnip Rocket, it just targets a bird if comboed with two or more cards. And then Anesthetic Bait is basically able to it's just like Sticky Goo, but you don't have to break the shield. It already triggers if it's attacked by an aquatic or a bird class card. For the second Axie, it's a Bug Axie with the exact same 3 cards: Terror Chomp, Bug Signal, and an Aesthetic Bait. And then for this third card, it's a Barb Strike, which applies 2 poison counters to target when played in a chain. And then for the third Axie, it is another Bug Axie with the same set of the first, or I mean the 3 cards, which is Terror Chomp, Bug Signal, and Aesthetic Bait, but has a zero cast skill which applies a fragile debuff. What fragile does is it doubles the damage on shields if the opponent actually has a fragile debuff. Okay, so let's see how I will play this and effectively securing my win. So for this one on turn 1, as you can see, I'm able to get 2 soothing songs, Vegetal Bite, Disguise, Spicy Surprise, and October Treat. So what goes on my mind here is the opponent would try to definitely steal my energy and also apply fear. So for me to actually do some damage and be able to get something out of my cards, I would have to play at least 4 cards. It's just so happened that I was given 4 cards on my plant. So what I did is I would play a October treat first, effectively canceling fear if I am applied by fear on the turn, and also vegetal bite because I am expecting as well that the opponent will try to steal my energy. By doing that, the opponent would use up all his energy as well. So I don't really need to steal any energy. And then I use this guys and then spicy surprise since I would like to get the effect of both this guys and spicy surprise. Also take note that my plant is the sixth axis at this turn. So any energy that my plant axis gains won't be stolen anymore by the opponent. Okay, let's see. Okay, so that's exactly how I played it. As you can see, the opponent used bug signal, another bug signal on the second axis, and then a terror chomp. Let's see what happens. So he does 101 damage, another 106 damage, and then 160 damage, and applying fear. That's the first tick of the fear. Second attack would be another miss, and then the third and the fourth card should hit and take effect. So I was able to gain 1 energy, and I was able to turn off the mouth of the um, tank. So let's see what happens on the second round. So this time I have 3 energy, the opponent has 2. I still expect him to try and steal energy from me. So on my mind, I'll be using all of my energy, but how do I effectively do it? Let's see what I do. All right, so I want my tank to survive a few more rounds, so just so I could and store energy as well as store cards on my backliners, so I could do an all-in on the later rounds. And what I did is I used Soothing Song and Swift Escape, so that sleep. What sleep does is directly apply the damage to opponent's HP as well as the next card after it. So this will ignore the any shield that the tank might put up. And then also I put some solid shield on my tank so that the opponent cannot take down my tank yet. Let's see what happens. Okay, so there you go. That goes through the shield, and then the opponent does try to steal more energy from me, but fails to do so since I've already used all of my energy up, and was barely able to do any damage to my tank. So my tank is still above 50% HP, while the opponent's tank is already within kill range. So I only have 2 energy. The opponent also has 2 energy. So I am trying to go get the kill now with 2 anemones. And let's see what the opponent does. Okay, so I used 2 anemones, was not able to kill the opponent since he put some shields up. He was able to cast Fear, and he tried to apply Fragile on my tank. So for this one, I am expecting that the opponent doesn't have um, any more um, armor. So let's see what I do with the cards that I have. Okay, so now I am going in for the kill using 2 tail slaps to gain myself some energy, since I already noticed that the opponent has already used most of his um, bug signal. Let me remind you that this is a replay and I don't really see the cards of my opponent. It's just that I'm basing from what has happened on the first 3 rounds, and I noticed that he has already used around, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 6 to 7 bug signal cards. So it's highly unlikely that he will still have bug signal on both of his axes, since again bug signal to get the effect, it would have to be used at least one each for 2 different axes. Okay, So he did get a kill though on my tank, so effectively wasting my energy for the tank, but it's all good since I'm also able to bring down the opponent's tank. And as we all know, two aquas have an advantage against two bugs. So let's see. So for this one, I haven't seen an anesthetic bait yet. So for me, it's not worth it to go all in already with 4 energy and just 4 cards, leaving me very vulnerable next round. So for now, I just want to see if the opponent or what the opponent will do with his 2 energy. Again, expecting that he doesn't have any more bug signals on both of his Axie. Here we could see that there is one bug signal, but on on the mid axis there isn't. So yeah, very lucky break for me that he wasn't able to steal any energy from me on this turn. So let's see. Okay, he just used one anesthetic bait as expected. So I did not do anything. Now I have 6 energy with a lot of cards, 5 cards on my mid lane and 2 cards on my back lane. So I think this, even with expecting an aesthetic bait on the mid line of the or mid axis of the opponent, I should still be able to kill or at least bring his HP down to a very low amount. So let's see what I do. Okay, so I do a lamb, which I expect to hit, but will then after stun me because of anesthetic bait. And then that is why I placed an all out card, which is a 0 to cast 120 damage, but will also inflict 30% of your max HP to yourself. So for this one, since I expected that this will miss, I would again use Lamb for extra damage and armor, and then a heal. Let's see if what I predicted will happen will pay or will actually happen. See. So there, I did 146 damage, got stunned. All out is a miss, which is fine. And then a heal, bringing my mid aqua with 138 armor and full health. Very, very much secured. Okay, so still more than half HP. Yep, still more than half HP. So for this one, he has already used 2 anesthetic um, bait on his second axis. Definitely very low chance that he'll get another one. So for this one, I opted to just use, I think, Soothing Song, since again, this will go through the armor, effectively saving cards and energy for the next turn. Let's see what the opponent does with his 2 energy. So he goes for a energy steal, which he could do it with with his last axis. But again, since I had already saved enough energy, he was only able to bring me down to 2 energy. And on round 9, I expect to gain another 2, so a 4 card all in. There you go. So for this one, I have 4 energy. I am expecting to kill the opponent now, so I'll go all in. So that is the combo that I applied. I avoided to use all out, even though I expect him to use um, anesthetic bait, just to make sure. And I don't want to put um, my mid axis HP too low. I just opted to go ahead and use 3 cards, which is Lamb, Heal, and Heal, and then 2 tail slaps on the backline axis and a um, Shuriken. So he did put in a decent amount of armor, so he was able to survive. But at this point, it's pretty much game already. I have a lot of energy, an upcoming 3 cards. So I think this is game already. Yep, the opponent surrendered, and that's basically how you make use of checking your opponent's axis, determining what combos and synergies he'll be applying, and thinking of a counterplay to effectively secure a win, even if you are at a disadvantage with the kind of cards the opponent has, which is very much anti-aqua. Okay, that will be all. Thank you.
Wow, Coach Cody.
There. So that's a video on applying all what I just said earlier. checking your opponent's Axie, formulating a plan, and making a counterplay against what your opponent has thought of with his team of Axies.
I think that it goes without saying. I think it's a. I mean, there's a lot of people who watch Axie and who are playing Axie, but not very often we get to watch a game at that level MMR. And can you just remind the chat of your MMR?
Currently it's around 2,166.
So 2,166 MMR. And yes, for those of you asking in the chat, that was Coach Cody's account, and that was his gameplay from his account. And those are not Chop Suey Aqua. Let me assure you, that is a hybrid team. And the difference between hybrid and a chop is that a hybrid is carefully thought out. Coach Cody knows this game very, very well, and he knows the synergies and what to play. And hopefully that's why you can appreciate and give us a hashtag Coach Cody in the comments for everything that he's sharing with you. What he's sharing with you, look, you got to understand, guys, you can go to YouTube and you can watch a lot of these YouTubers who respectfully, play the game, and some play the game well, but they really want clickbait and attention. The people that are at the top of the game that are doing really well, they keep their secrets close guarded because they don't want to share them. They don't want to tell people what they're doing. But Coach Cody comes here and he just delivers full out every time. And you're seeing this because the difference between someone that can talk to you about the game compared to someone that's actually there. See, Coach Cody can tell you as a mentor as well as a coach because he's at that level. So if you want to get to where he is, all you need to do to be successful, follow successful people. It's as simple as that. It's called modeling. The technique of modeling is find somebody who is doing what you want to do and copy them. So Coach Cody's giving you the roadmap. He's giving you the sat-nav, the journey. He's giving you everything, the tools. We're giving you everything you need to get to where he is. So all you need to do is just stay here, be in the Discord, learn, do your homework, follow, wait for your team, and when you get it, off you go. So, Coach Cody, wow. What a session.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, please join us in Discord. I would like to collaborate with everyone here watching. Let's learn from each other. Again, there's still a lot of things that I need to learn. And if there's someone else in the stream or in the chat that would like to contribute as well, please join our Discord channel and let's work together to possibly improve our skills and gameplay in Axie.
Absolutely. Okay. Coach Cody, I mean, I know we're running over time, but do you have a few more minutes?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Should we play a couple of games?
Yep.
All right. I haven't got much energy. We can probably only play 60.
Well, I think I could only last for at least maybe a couple of games, just two maybe.
I think we can do a couple. So we're using the lineup. The lineup that Coach Cody has recommended, we're using it here. It's the one that our scholars are getting. This is the lineup that scholars get. We're going to go into arena, so we're going to wait for our game. At the same time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to load up. Remember, we have our scholar game tracker. So we're going to load this, and the link to this is in the Discord, so you can track your games. And the first thing we're going to do, without Coach Cody even telling us, because we've learnt, is we're going to check the cards of our enemy. Gas Unleash, October Treat, so we know he can brick us. Prickly Trap for the damage. Vegetable Bite to steal our energy. Okay. Aqua. Okay, so we know what we're playing with here. We know what we've got. Barb Strike. Okay, so poison on the back line as well. So we talked earlier about that stackable poison. So we know what's going to come. So they're going to try and steal our energy. So we know that if we were to play these, we can gain 1 energy. And we can disable the mouth card. And because they're going to try and steal, we may as well play.
Yep.
So we're going to go. We're going for this. We're not messing about.
I think we should pass that one. The backline.
Okay.
I mean, so my comment there is, Ronin, to take effect, you would need at least 2 combo cards. So,
yes, I missed it. Yes, I made a mistake.
Well
I should have. Yes, I apologize. I made a mistake. I should have paid, if anything, 2 Risky Fish or passed for the Ronin. Yep. I thought it was 1. It was my mistake. That was my mistake.
But it's okay. You actually hit the crit. Amazing.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
just go for the
kind of
kill
knew it
now.
was coming.
Yep.
Okay, so right
So-
now, I mean, I could pass. He does have an October tree. He's probably going to play it.
But you have 3 energy right now.
And he's
And
going to
with
try an
your
energy
current
still. So maybe this
mid-
is a... I play this.
Yeah, your tail slap, risky, and Ronin, because that effectively deals around 400 damage.
Yeah, which
So-
doesn't matter if he doesn't even use it. He didn't even
Yeah.
use it.
By the way, my screen is a little bit delayed since you have your
Oh, I'm
Excel
sorry. Let me
covering
share with you. I
Discord screen.
apologize.
So I'm only watching from the
I'm sharing the
Facebook
wrong screen with
feed.
you. I'm gonna change windows. Bear with me, just so that you can see. Sorry, I apologize. There we go.
It's fine. Yes, I see it now. Yep.
All right, so we spanked the tank. We spanked the tank. We're going into the next round. We're not energy counting. We've forgotten to energy count, which is bad. But we are going to go for these 2 cards.
That should be fine.
And that's it. That's all we're going to play this round.
Yep.
We're going to build our cards up, guys. We're going to build our cards and build our energy. We know that they can't steal energy. He doesn't even get a kill. He doesn't get a kill, so that was... oh, he does. He does, because I forgot he played those as well. So we didn't get to use them, but that's fine. We're now in a position where we can definitely go for the kill here. We can play these 2 and actually just play all of these. I don't think we need to play
Yep.
this.
No need for Bidens.
Not yet.
Just
We're going
the
to
3
save our
damaging
Bidens,
cards.
but we can play these 3 cards just to get rid of them.
You might want to use the speed buff first. Yep.
Yeah, see, I
So you're
saw that. I
guaranteed.
did it. I saw it. I corrected myself.
Good job.
All right.
Also, for your... Oh, never mind.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I was gonna say, since your mid Axie has an attack buff, see, you only increase your damage to 41. You could have used
I
Showstar
could have
first
swapped the order.
for the
Yes.
20% buff. Yep.
Yes.
But it's still a kill since he only has 280.
And just securing a kill there. Perfect.
Okay.
Oh,
So
I
there's
like
really
the- oh, no,
nothing
I'm not
you should
gonna
do
use
right now.
this.
Just pass.
It's gonna
Wait
pass.
for the
Yep.
next set of attack cards.
Hashtag WWCCD. WWCCD. What would Coach Cody do?
Just pass.
Just pass. All right, so that's fine. So we know we're going to lose this.
hmm
But that's absolutely
But-
fine because now we're going to go second. We can use our... Well, he's only going to have 2 energy.
Yep. You can just go all in and end the game.
I can just go all in. I don't even need a Bidens here. I can just go... This?
Yeah. I think any order doesn't.
Oh, we did have
doesn't
4
really
cards.
matter since. Well,
But even
unless
so,
he
he's
hits a
still not going to
crit,
be able to
you're a
kill me.
guaranteed win already.
Yeah, he's still not going to be able to kill me, even with 4 cards. So I can go in now with my 4 cards, and even if I don't kill him, I've
Yep.
got my double Bidens for next round, and I've still got my energy. Should be GG.
And you're gonna go first as well.
Yep.
Since you have
I'm going
2
to go first.
speed
He's
buffs.
only got 19 health. I don't even need to do
Yep.
anything else. I'm just going all in.
There you go. That's how you win.
That's how you win, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you win. Look at that. GG for the Coach Cody. Now, I apologise because I probably could have won that easier had I have listened, but I was so excited to practice with my new knowledge. And there
Again,
we go. So,
this team that we made actually has a lot of room for error. That's why I advise this team to our scholars, since again there's a lot of like leg room for mistakes, since our backline is really powerful with that armor setup and high damage skills.
nice, nice. Yes, absolutely makes sense. Very, very good. GG's in the chat. Thank you ever so much. Christian, hello. Do you have available slot for an Axie Scholar? Look, we're going to do our best to get everybody on board. We onboarded 10 in the first 2 weeks that we launched. We've onboarded another 10 that we're going through at the moment. So we're going to have 20 by the end of this week. We're only 3 weeks. This is our 4th week. Our 4th week in this journey. So please, please understand that we will start scaling and we will start growing. In fact, something that I can share with you right now on the chat is that we got our Trezor wallet. Our Trezor wallet arrived. We set it up today. So we have our Trezor wallet here. We're ready to go. All of Axie will be conducted through Trezor. So we're doing this for security. We wanted that to be able to set that up. We're gonna be ramping up now. We've got everything that we need. We've got every document ready. We've got every sponsor aware. Everything is in place. So all we need to do now is just trust the process, put in one application form through the website, look at the pinned comment to see it, and we will do our absolute best to get to each and every one of you as soon as we can. Okay, there's nobody that we're going to leave behind. We just need some time now to implement. Okay, we've done all of the groundwork. Everything's there. We're going to be scaling up quickly now. You know, we have another 10 sponsors coming on this week. So that's another 10 scholars. So we're going as quick as we possibly can. We really are. All right, so plant. Okay, this is a new one. Jar Barrage. Attacks that break this Axie shield cannot do additional damage. Okay, good to know. All right, gain 1 energy when combo with a plant card. Okay, so still 1 energy. So good to know what that plant's doing. Mystic going with the chomp for the stun and the sticky goo. Oh my days, I've heard about these. I've heard about these lineups. All right, so what I'm going to do here is he's going to go for the steal, but I'm going to do the same. So I feel we'll go for the steal. He's going to go before me, so he's going to steal mine before I steal his. So I can probably just steal it back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 2 cards, let him steal my energy, and I'm going to steal it back.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense. And that's exactly what's happened.
Oh, yes! Coach Steve in the house. That right there, that's a 5 IQ play. That's what that is. All right, now we have no idea where we're going. So I'm assuming right now, given that he doesn't have the energy, he's probably going to pass a turn.
Yep.
And so I can go for this.
Exactly, yep. That's exactly how it would have played as well.
Oh, okay, so
there
he did
go.
go, but yeah. I didn't expect him to do that. He must have got the extra.
Well,
Okay.
actually, that's okay. So, again, the reason why we're saving pumpkins and not using them on turn 1 is we want to break the enemy.
Yes.
Now, he would
That's
probably
sad.
be like motivated to kill your tank now with just 22 HP, but you having 2 pumpkins, that would even 1 steal. You can even you can't, right? So just leave it for now, and then just end your turn.
There we go. Wasting his
So
turn.
that's a big brick. Yep. 2 cards wasted. And you're going to draw more cards. Again, opening up yourself to more opportunity plays.
Yep. Beautiful.
There you go.
And nothing on the plant, which is, well, not really anything on the plant. So now I can play these 2 to get my energy.
And also kill the plant.
That might kill the
And
plant,
then-
but maybe I should go for...
I won't be using any card anymore on the tank since...
No. He's going to die anyway. So maybe just go for a speed buff here.
I suggest use risky. Reason being, the next in line, even if the front line dies, is a reptile, so you'll still be getting that buff.
Okay, so we'll try it.
Okay.
All right.
He's probably gonna pass. Oh, he doesn't.
I might get...
But he's still gonna die.
No, he does that. That's fine. That's cool. That's cool. We know that. We know that's coming. So, I don't... Oh, I might. Yeah, I do. Yes, I do.
Yep.
It works perfectly. I get the energy and we get into the reptile. Do some damage there. Beautiful.
And retain the buff.
Oh,
All right.
wow.
Okay,
wow.
so for this one, since you might use a sticky goo, you would like to make sure that you are able to turn that off immediately. To do that, use your Ronin first. And then use 2 of your Star Shuriken. So even if he does activate the sticky on your second card, you would still be able to kill him and guarantee that he won't be entering last stand.
Perfect.
Because you're ending it with a Shuriken. Yep.
Perfect. Yep. So here we go.
No, it's only 100%. He put a lot of armor, so that's okay.
But I missed... Oh, okay, so I missed there. Yeah, okay. But that's fine. That's fine. I still don't think he kills me here, but he does put the stun on.
I hope he doesn't crit.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm
All
good.
right,
I'm good.
no crit.
Okay. All right, so now he's going to go first. So this is dead, so not really anything I can do here.
Okay. Yep. So you
think I
would like
pass.
to get first skill. So maybe use 1 attack, which is upstream. And just in case he uses Sticky Goo again, you might want to use Cleanse. No, sorry. Upstream, then Cleanse, and then Upstream again. Cleanse, no. Sorry, you should use Cleanse. So Upstream,
Yep.
Bidens, and then...
Sorry,
Okay.
I've messed up.
It's okay, it's
I saw
okay.
the time running out. I saw the time running out. Sorry.
Oh, you hit a crit. Lucky.
My bad. Okay. So now I'm
Okay.
just gonna do 2 Bidens.
Yep, just do 2 Bidens.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry,
So
the
if it
time ran
does
out there, and I
damage, you're
wasn't
gonna
sure
go
on the
first.
order.
If
I
it doesn't,
misheard.
then you still have a lot of armor.
Oh, he skipped a turn, so that was a. But I removed a debuff. Bidens
Okay.
again.
I suggest you use let's see.
He
2
saved us.
buffs.
So he's got 4 energy, so
2
he's going all
upstreams.
out with. Yeah.
So you could go for highest armor,
Which is gonna be
maybe
50,
1
40.
Bidens, and then 2 clams, and then an upstream. Yep. Let's see.
Nice.
Ooh.
I don't
He
think
might
it's going
go
to be
first
enough,
later
but
still. So maybe
he's
he
also.
got
I'm
this
gonna, I'm
game.
going to be giving him a speed buff, so he's going to go first next round. So I do think that I lose this, but at the same time, I understand that I know what I did wrong.
You might want to use the attack first before Biden's, just in case you're able to land a critical hit and you still survive
going
with the
second,
last
though.
stand. So use Clam. No, use Clam first. There.
Oh,
And
I
then
see what you're saying.
Biden's,
I
and
see what
then
you're saying. Yeah, so if I
the
do
max
get a
armor.
hit, yeah, I'll kill him first. Yeah, in case. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then that, and then okay.
The max armor. Any order, yep.
Yeah.
But he's still able to use, I think, 3 cards.
Yeah, I think
Since
he's
he
got,
has
he's
tail
got
slap.
4. Oh wow, no,
Yeah,
he's
4
full,
cards even.
he's full in. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
GG. I made a mistake, but that's okay. That's okay. It happens.
We learn from our mistakes also.
That's it. We don't lose if we learn. I panicked because I saw the time running out, and I made the mistake by not responding correctly. But that's okay. That's okay. All right, let's go one more. We can get one more game in. We're gonna see if we can do a 2-1. 2-1. We're not gonna leave this. 2 bird plant. Okay. So Air Force 1. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Right. And then
So
we
purely
have.
attacks.
Okay. Okay, these are just glass cannons, basically.
Yep. So I think he's gunning for a Blood Moon setup where his he just stores energy and cards onto his backliner and just try to do as much damage with his bird before it dies. So it would be good to use that. Okay.
Okay, so applies a Jinx. Chat, do you remember what Jinx does? Do you remember?
Won't crit and
Alright. So now I'm thinking I need to kill this bird. He's used all his cards. He's got nothing left. So I can probably go... I'd probably go for the 3 cards just to finish. Maybe? What would you recommend 3 cards?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
So as
Oh,
you
wow.
can see, his plant is not really attacking.
No, his plant's not
think
really
that
doing
is-
anything. But also,
Mm.
yeah, so we're going to get that because we needed that 3rd card. So, and also my plant's still alive, so I can just skip this turn.
Yep.
Or I
So our
suppose I
game
could.
plan here is to use Ronin. Use your your midline skills onto the opponent's plant. So just store those Ronin for now, and try to survive as long as you can.
So should I?
With the
Okay,
tackle.
so don't play at all.
Don't play Ronin for now. Yep.
So just skip.
Yep.
Okay, he goes in, which is good. He's wasting his energy, which is nice. All right.
Okay. So you could do 2 cards on your backline. Yep.
Oh, That's my backline. So
well, you should.
I will go for
Yep.
speed up and clam.
Yep, and then maybe shuriken on the other one. There you go.
Okay, so he's going first, but he's not going to kill me. He'll do some damage unless he gets a massive crit, which no, he doesn't. All right. So that should be enough. Of course, it's enough. Coach Cody told me. Oh wow. Okay, so now
Okay.
maybe I go Biden's.
For this one, double Biden's. Yep. So that would turn off his
Yep, and then I
last
just go
stand,
4 cards
and then
on
go
the
risky Ronin, risky Ronin.
Risky Ronin, Risky Ronin.
Okay.
All right,
He's
let's
up
do
for
this,
a
ladies
big
and gentlemen.
surprise.
Biden's.
He is up for a big surprise.
Surprise, motherfucker! Spank the tank. Spank
I forgot
the
your
tank.
bleep.
Spank the tank.
Ooh.
Come on.
And that's GG.
Oh no! But
Okay,
anyway,
so
GG's.
He
but
still
yeah.
lives a little bit, so double. Yep.
We're just gonna go for that. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter.
Actually, you have to
I mean,
use
he hasn't
risky
even
and
played a
just to
single
secure the
hand
kill.
with that tank.
Use risky first,
Yeah, I mean,
because you might use all 4 cards and live.
I don't think he has. He doesn't even have shield.
He has around 300 max.
I don't even think
Almost.
he's playing.
Oh.
Oh, he has. Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. So he has. He's played the shield.
Yep.
Oh,
It's okay. So
wow.
You
okay.
basically, yeah. If you have, if you
Yeah,
have
if I did
already
the other one first,
switched
yeah,
it
see,
around,
that's
yep,
a good
you
lesson.
get that 20% increase.
Good lesson. Okay, so I should have done that to do that, and then
Yep.
okay.
Yep. But
Understood.
still GG.
Still GG,
There's no way he
but
can
this is where
generate
it's
500
forgiving, but
HP,
yeah,
500 armor.
definitely. But I should have gone first because it could have been easy. It could have been over already, but yeah.
Yep.
That was
So
that
there.
tank took a spanking. That really did. Nice.
So as you can see on this game, we came up with a plan that we would use all the beast cards, even if we could have killed the bird earlier, if you recall, with
yes, we
all 3
saved
cards.
it for the plant.
We hold it, we stick with the plan, kill it with the aqua cards only, and then go all in with the Ronins against the plant on the later round.
Makes
There you go.
perfect sense. Absolute perfect sense. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, Coach Cody, thank you so much for your time today. As always, your knowledge is admirable and your generosity is appreciated. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Well, you're not a scholar, you're a manager, but you're also a coach. But
Yep.
that being said, you're appreciated and respected, and we really, really do. Really, really
All
do
right.
appreciate everything that you've shared with us today.
Thank you so much as well, Steve, for having me, and everyone who has joined us today. Again, please join us in Discord if you if you like this session and you would like to learn some more. Please join us in our Discord channel, and I'll be looking forward to doing some sessions, private sessions, coaching sessions with you guys. Bye, guys.
Awesome.
Have a good night.
Cody, take care, my friend. I will speak to you soon. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Cody, everybody. Wow. Have you enjoyed today? Has it been good? Have you had some fun? Hopefully you've learnt some things. So again, we are going to take the slides from today. We're going to post it into the Scholarship Discord channel. Coach Cody is available in the Discord, and you can reach the Discord through the website, axiescholar.co.uk. We're not going to be on tomorrow, but we will be back on Friday. Remember, on Friday, we have all of our hatching. All of our Axie are going to be ready to hatch. So it's going to be a breeding day. We're going to onboarding new scholars. It's going to be a busy day. So remember to join us at 11 a.m. GMT, 6 p.m. PST for another Axie Scholar UK session on Friday. But apart from that, from me, from the team, from Fitzy, from everybody else, from Coach Cody, thank you for your time, your love, your attention, your generosity with the shares, likes, comments, all of your engagement. Very, very much appreciated. We'll be back on Friday for another session. Until then, I'll see you in Discord. Take care and have a great day. Speak to you soon.